Dominic Raab, we need to hold our nerve. Andrew Marr was joined by the Brexit Secretary as the deadline for achieving a deal with the European Union draws ever closer. Marr asked Dominic Raab about rumours that the mood in the party is restless enough to trigger a leadership contest against Theresa May, with the influential 1922 Committee of Conservative backbenchers reportedly nearing the critical threshold of 48 signatures. Raab told his colleagues that now is the time to play for the team. What is your message to all of your colleagues who look at this and say, this is a complete shambles? Doctor, we're at the end stage of the negotiation. I think it's understandable there are jitters on all sides of this debate. We need to hold our nerve. The end is in sight in terms of a good deal with the EU, and I think colleagues should wait and see what that looks like. We won't want to bring something back which we aren't confident is a very good deal for the United Kingdom. But now is the time to play for the team. I think that's the way we get the best deal for the EU, and I also think that's what the country expects from us. On the question of extending the 2-year implementation period after the UK officially leaves the EU in 2019, Raab said that he was open-minded about the possibility of a short extension, which he suggested could be around 3 months. However, he added that there needs to be something which allows us to control how long we are there for, to avoid any sense that we are left indefinitely in a sort of customs union limbo. On the death of the dissident journalist Jamal Khashoggi in Saudi Arabia's Turkish embassy, Raab dismissed the Saudi government's explanation, stating, "I don't think it's credible. We support the Turkish investigation into it, and the British government wants to see people held to account." Keir Starmer, no options ruled out, including Remain. Marr also spoke to Raab's opposite number, Sir Keir Starmer. On Saturday, central London saw up to 700,000 protesters take to the street to demand a people's vote on Brexit. Starmer told Marr that, in the event of no deal with the EU, the possibility of a referendum with Remain as an option was fully on the table. Labour's insists no options ruled out on people's vote on final deal. Read more. https://t.co/p2elmonf8h. Obviously then there's the question of a general election, then we move to the next stage. If there's no deal brought back, or the deal is voted down, then other options are on the table, one of which is a public vote, and in that vote no options are ruled out, including the option of Remain. On the government's negotiations, Starmer told Marr that Labour would back Theresa May, saying, "The Prime Minister is proposing as a temporary arrangement for a customs union. We say that should be the long-term relationship." He continued that, unless the Brexit deal satisfies our conditions, then it's going to be a bad deal. However, he did not confirm that Labour's 6 tests for the eventual Brexit deal would be in the party's next manifesto. Suella Braverman, Chequers as a pragmatic proposal. Sophie Ridge interviewed the Brexit minister Suella Braverman about the Prime Minister's Chequers plan. Braverman, known for being one of the most enthusiastic Brexiteers in the government, gave the plan her vote of confidence and defended it against criticism from her former boss David Davis that the strategy was just wrong. Brexit minister at Suella Braverman says that Chequers is a pragmatic proposal that honours the referendum result. It takes us forward in the negotiations, it honours the referendum result in that it ends free movement of people, it takes us out of the common fisheries policy. It stops the common agriculture policy, it stops us being part of the jurisdiction of the ECJ, and it stops us sending billions of pounds a year to the EU. For me, it means we can have control of our rules when it comes to services, so I am very confident about Chequers as a proposal to move the negotiations forward, and I'm hopeful that we will strike a deal with the EU ultimately. Braverman described the Northern Irish backstop arrangement as an insurance policy in the last resort, but said that we have to resolve it. She told Ridge that we would accept a potential extension by a few months subject either to a finite time limit or a mechanism to extricate ourselves from it if it meant breaking this impasse. Braverman also said that while a no-deal scenario wouldn't be a walk in the park, she suggested that we can thrive in a no-deal situation as well. Alistair Campbell: it is frustrating that Corbyn won't back us. Ridge also spoke to Alistair Campbell, one of the arch-cheerleaders of the People's Vote march on Saturday. Although Tony Blair's former spin doctor has rarely seen eye to eye with Labour's current leader, Campbell expressed his bitter regret that Jeremy Corbyn did not take part in the protests. Alistair Campbell says he is frustrated by Jeremy Corbyn's lack of support for a People's Vote. Senior: do you think it's because he is Eurosceptic? AC: I think partly it's that. I think historically he has not been a big fan of the European Union. Campbell insisted that, in any second referendum, the option to remain must be on the ballot paper, and argued that it was profoundly anti-democratic not to offer voters a fresh choice. He also derided that government for not meeting any of the challenges that led to people voting Leave in the first place. Campbell defended himself against Ridge's charge that he was as self-righteous as the Iraq War protesters he had dismissed in 2003, describing the current situation as very, very different. Natalie Lewisow: we will do as much as the British authorities. And finally, after President Emmanuel Macron had been warning earlier this week that British citizens may need to apply for visas to visit or work in France after a no-deal Brexit, France's Europe Minister Natalie Lewisow sought to reassure British citizens living in France that there was nothing to worry about, as long as the UK government made the first move. British citizens welcome in France after. But this has to be reciprocal. We have a high priority. This is the situation of French citizens living in the United Kingdom. We will do as much as the British authorities do for our citizens.